Oil prices to nuclear arms. Will Israel-Iran conflict hit global trade? What does it mean for India? Israel struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear, missile and military complex early Friday, in an unprecedented attack that reportedly killed at least two of Iran's top military commanders and plunges the wider Middle East into dangerous new territory. The strikes on Iran's nuclear program and senior military leaders could be a turning point in the long-running conflict, as Israel braced for a major Iranian retaliation, with the threat of a wider regional war breaking out now a real risk. Later Friday morning, that retaliation appeared to be underway after Israel's military said Iran had launched more than 100 drones toward its territory. All of Israel's aerial defenses had been activated, military spokesperson Efi Diffrin said, adding, "We're expecting difficult hours." In a televised address to the nation, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the military operation had struck at the head of Iran's nuclear weaponization program, and targets included Iran's main enrichment facility in Natanz, Iranian nuclear scientists, and Iran's ballistic missiles program. Moments ago, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion, a targeted military operation to roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's very survival, Netanyahu said in a televised address. This operation will continue for as many days as it takes to remove this threat. Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei warned that Israel will face severe punishment for the attacks, and confirmed that a number of Iranian commanders and scientists had been killed. Iran's armed forces spokesperson said both the US and Israel would pay dearly. Friday's strikes suggest Netanyahu saw a window of opportunity to meet Israel's long-standing objective of obliterating Iran's nuclear program. Iran is in its weakest military position in decades following crippling economic sanctions, previous Israeli strikes on its air defenses, and decimation of its most powerful regional proxies, including Hezbollah. A sixth round of nuclear talks between the US and Iran had been scheduled for Sunday, and US officials had previously told CNN that Israeli strikes on Iran would be a brazen break with President Donald Trump's approach on the Middle East. The United States was not involved in the strikes, US Secretary of State Marco Rubio said, noting that Israel had advised the US that it believed the action was necessary for its self-defense. In the Strait of Hormuz, a shipping lane through which nearly a fifth of the world's oil passes, is a major concern. Iran had earlier threatened to disrupt the route, which, in turn, could impact global oil prices, energy supply chains, and affect economies. In the Strait of Hormuz is a key route for nearly 20% of the world's crude oil. If Iran targets the shipping lanes or energy infrastructure, global oil prices could surge, impacting inflation and energy security across major importing countries. While markets are reacting with volatility, in several media reports, analysts have warned that the tension could lead to price spikes and geopolitical instability in oil-dependent nations. In the conflict may put pressure on India and other countries such as China, and Gulf nations, which have so far stayed neutral. Forced to pick a side, their stance could change trade and defense ties in the region. Arab states that have normalized relations with Israel under the Abraham Accords might quietly support the move, seeing Iran as a shared threat. Meanwhile, Iran may turn more aggressively toward China and Russia for diplomatic and military backing. While Washington was reportedly informed in advance, it has publicly distanced itself from the strikes. However, any escalation that affects US troops in the region could force American involvement, intentionally or otherwise. Swipe left for next video. It may mark the start of a new chapter in the nuclear arms race in West Asia. Iran might accelerate its weapons development, prompting neighboring states like Saudi Arabia to pursue similar capabilities. With agency inputs, latest blogs.